Over the years, we've watched Nene Leakes go through some pretty tumultuous times on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. We've laughed together.
I don't know Phaedra that well, but what I've seen of Phaedra, I ain't never seen Fabulous.
We've watched her throw some of the best shade.
Oh, honey, I'm gone with the wind. Fabulous. I was like, bitch, is it movie night?
And we've seen her really go through some of the worst times on the show.
You are really hurting my feelings because I want the best for you and you are killing me.
But there's never been a time, or at least not one that I can remember, where we've watched Nene Leakes break down like this.
I was devastated. I don't break down.
It's Justin Diego, and I'm back with another Bingeworthy video. And today, let's talk about how obvious it is that the Real Housewives of Atlanta star Nene Leakes is really having a really hard time facing Gregg's illness, and why, after watching Sunday's episode, fans are still asking why she'd host a party while her husband Gregg is in the hospital in the first place.
Gregg health being the way that it is, any little argument is a stupid argument.
During Sunday night's episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Nene hosted a party where her castmates were asked to come without wigs, extensions, or any type of weaves. Now, before we get started, I definitely have to say that this episode was all over the place, but I'm okay with that because it was like all so good, y'all. But I also have to say that I need to give a shout out to the editors for this episode too, because y'all know that editing is my first love and I live for a really good petty edit. I can imagine that they were cutting this thing up in so many different ways before somebody said, you know what? Screw this. Let's just put the day in sequential order and run it straight like that, because it looks like there was just too much going on. Let's connect the dots. We'll discuss the best parts of season 11, episode 16, rightfully titled Bye Wig, Hello Drama, including the Bye Wig party theme, the best natural hair moments, who was tardy for the party and set Nene Leakes off. We'll also talk about Gregg's hospitalization and how that adds to the backstory. We'll talk about Marlo versus Nene Leakes and why they were screaming at each other and off with each other's heads, before we talk about Nene's closet freakout moment that everybody's talking about. And y'all know I have to include some fan reactions before giving my final thoughts. The theme of the party was Bye Wig, so yes, the women showed up rocking their natural hair.
No hair extensions whatsoever. That means wigs, weaves, clip in, clap in, tuck in, sew in, tape in, whatever you got in, take it out.
Here's the thing, when we all found out about the theme of this party, y'all have got to admit that y'all were wanting to see what was, popping underneath those stocking caps. Don't give me that face. Black queens, I'm sorry. Y'all know I love y'all, but we all wanted to see.
I'm very interested to see what's going on under the blonde wig of Mrs. Leakes.
Have you ever seen her?
Yeah, she used to wear her real hair. Remember back when Claudia was clowning her?
That's the hair that you chose to buy.
This is the hair that I chose to buy.
I think that's the last time I probably seen her rock her real hair.
Right. Just like Candy, we wanted to see what Nene was gonna look like in her hair, because she's really been known to switch it up. And I mean, some of her craziest moments have really had a lot to do with wigs.
I just wanted to show people that I really have hair. It may not be as long as the hair in my head, but we have some hair.
It's obvious that Nene recognizes that, and I find that so hilarious.
Let me see. Let me check now. Wait, hold on. I guess this is what I would expect. The curls the comb forward. It's cool.
Now, I feel like I caught a little shade from Candy, and apparently I wasn't the only one. Reader from Twitter tweeted out saying, Candy is so shady for that daggone confessional about Nene's hair. Laughing face emoji, #RHOA. So I have to ask you guys, was that shade from Candy? Comment right now and tell me your thoughts on Candy's confessional and Nene's wigless look. These are those classic, silly Real Housewives of Atlanta moments that we just love, right?
No, well, hold on a few minutes. They can wait a few minutes. Let's finish the point.
Without my wigs, I feel vulnerable.
Hey, hello.
if the wind blows and moves one piece of hair, then something could be revealed. Like, this is...
Now, if you watched the full episode, you know that just when Nene's party couldn't possibly get any more hair raising, a misunderstanding involving Nene ends with everyone not just wigless, but also speechless.
You and Porsha are disrespectful.
Okay. You finished?
No, bitch.
Before we dive in, it's important to remember though that there was a lot of tension brewing before the party ever even started, since just one day prior to her all-natural hair bash, Nene's husband Gregg had been readmitted to the hospital after suffering a blood clot in his leg from a cancer-related surgery, which packed on some extra pressure and had shaken Nene Leakes to the core.
He's sick. Okay? And when the doctors went, I was having a blood clot. I was devastated. I'm not a devastated person. I'm not.
Gregg expressed his concern for Nene's well-being, calling on Cynthia Bailey and Marlo Hampton to check in with his wife to make sure that she is okay.
Gregg texted myself and also Marlo to make sure we reach out to Nene.
Gregg never calls me and say, Marlo, go check on my wife. I'm concerned about my wife.
Now, this is where things get tricky, and we all have to keep in mind that the girls have been drinking for some time, and some more than others.
Cocktail!
Before all the girls got there, Nene definitely was talking with some of the girls about this beef that she had with Marlo, because Nene felt like Marlo was just not being all that compassionate towards her since she was going through such a difficult time. And in true Marlo fashion, when Marlo arrived, she definitely addressed it when she showed up late.
I like the blonde. No, bitch, you have been late.
I've been late because of you.
No, bitch, go sit over there. First of all, Marlo, with your big giant motherfucking belt, bitch. You don't come to drive you had.
The problem is, Nene was so over it because she felt so disappointed in both Porsha and Marlo's tardiness, and she even felt that Marlo was showing up late on purpose.
It don't matter how many days. You don't come 5 hours later, bitch. You ain't Purple Rain, bitch. You and Porsha are disrespectful.
Okay. You finished?
No, bitch.
The more time that passed, the more drinks Nene and the girls had, and we all know what happens when we drink.
Nene is officially losing her real hair at this point. Forget buy wig. Buy to your own scalp.
I'm talking.
I know.
I'm
You
talking
telling our story. I've never even heard blinded. Blinded.
Yes, shots were fired and more shade was thrown before things just went completely left.
If you have a friend that's in pain and hurting, how do you come to them yelling and fussing?
I didn't yell and
yes,
fuss at you.
Yes, you did. Who does that?
Both Marlo Hampton and Nene Leakes were clearly hurting, and there are moments when I was disappointed in the both of them.
I am your sister. I'm going through a lot of things.
You're not the only person hurting. Gregg's hurting. Brent's hurting.
You know what a friend is going through.
Stop. Look, you're going through a lot.
But I have also never stood in Nene's shoes, so I really can't say whether or not she overreacted towards Marlo. I really think that Marlo felt some kind of way like, okay now Nene, bitch, I get it, you're hurting and Gregg is sick, but what we're not gonna do is act like I'm a bad friend for TV. And after a while, Marlo was like, you know what, screw this, I'm about to dip. Hunt for Drea on Instagram commented under Nene's post saying, I've always said your friendships are never reciprocated, ! They just figure, oh, it's Nene, she's strong, she'll be fine. And Nene responded to that comment saying, right. And when another fan tried to drag Marlo for being a bad friend, commenting, truth, I've never thought Marlo was a good friend to you. Nene surprised me and she actually responded to that person saying, she's the greatest friend of all of these girls. And I couldn't help but think about like Cynthia. I couldn't help but think about the fact that Candy sat there and like cried with you.
Normally, Nene doesn't really allow herself to break down in front of anyone. Go ahead. That's okay. You know, I'm the one that's always crying, so I'm really not used to this. I don't even know what to do.
You know, I know everybody's not the best friend, but like I was like, damn, like I didn't know her and Marlo was like tight like that now. And I cannot wait to hear what you guys are thinking, so comment right now telling me if you think that this mess with Marlo and Nene is just what friends go through, or if you agree with Sierra on Instagram who said, Nene, you are full of shit. Marlo is not your best friend. It ain't that serious. You just want that Marlo to get a peach with the peach emoji. Yeah, I'm just happy that the ladies de-escalated the situation and they really flooded Nene Leakes with love and affection and clearly a glass or two of water to help her pull it together. And like this fan on Instagram, I was happy to see that this fiasco actually earned Marlo a full-blown confessional.
You made it, Marlo! Yes! My main got a confessional.
Like, she's giving me like official peach holder vibes right here, right? Okay, back to the story. Yes, alcohol played a huge role in how things played out that night. It's one of the reasons Kandi and Porsha both ended up feeling the wrath of Nene Leakes, taking things to a whole new level of drama.
Gotta put y'all out my closet, because all y'all trying to be nosy.
I love
Okay,
it.
this is gold.
Yes.
At the end of the day, don't go.
What happened?
Okay, it felt like this came out of nowhere, but yes, it actually happened and I'm still shook. People just don't understand why something so small as the girls checking out her closet would lead Nene to such a dark place, and honestly, I still just don't get it.
Get the out my closet. Don't play with me, motherfucker. I will you up.
In her confessional, Kandi Burruss said that Nene always talks about her fabulous closet, and after all these years of hearing about it, she just wanted to see this fabulous closet for herself.
At least I should be able to see it this time, right?
Go see it, Kandi. Kandi, go see it.
I'm going.
Candy, you better bring your. Don't try me, Candy.
Let me see this damn
Candy,
closet.
I mean, Porsha, don't go in my closet. My closet is not together.
Now, when the cameras tried to follow Kandi and Porsha, Nene had enough. She grabbed that camera crew member's arm and chaos ensued. Somebody shouted like, "She's pregnant!" and Nene didn't even care. And I was just like, oh my God.
She's pregnant. Don't do that, mother. Don't. Let me go. Come on. No.
Take my mic. I don't understand.
Now, this tweet took me out from Detria Rochelle on Twitter, who posted this funny gif giving us her visual of what Nene's closet must have looked like for her to be that pressed about them going in her closet. Now, before Jade from Twitter tweeted out, joining the conversation saying, "I definitely do think Nene overreacted because it wasn't that deep. But then again, it's basic manners to not wander around somebody's house if you're a guest, #RHOA. And I don't know, y'all, like, did Nene react? Because I'm feeling like she did. Again, I don't get it, but Nene claims that it's just a matter of respect, and when some of her fans actually reached out under her Instagram post, she did not hold back. At Benaj12 commented saying, "Why couldn't they go in the closet? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. They seem very impressed about it. What was the issue? Question mark." And Nene responded saying, "You can't do whatever you want to do in someone else's home." Now, I was thinking the same thing. Nene referred to like being disrespected, like how Sheree has been disrespected and everybody's houses get disrespected, but I think that that's like a cop-out excuse. I think that Nene was just like, you know, under a lot of pressure anyway. Nene was, you know, under the influence, and she was just like ashamed of something. I'm not sure if she had an empty closet. I'm not sure if like her clothes from Swag Boutique was like all over the floor or whatever. We know how it be sometimes, especially when you're going through, but it just doesn't make sense, Nene, and it definitely wasn't the same thing. Those girls meant no harm, and if it was a matter of you just being mad at production for not listening to you, all you should have done is swung at him and left my girl Kandi and Porsha alone.
I have definitely seen Nene go from 0 to 100, but this is a total breakdown. This is probably Nene at her most vulnerable state.
I also would love to see some sort of compassion for at least Porsha, who was definitely pregnant at the time. But I have a feeling that that's gonna be addressed, stay woke, stay woke, stay woke, later on the show.
Next time on The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Have either one of you guys spoken with Nene since?
I wanted to text, but then I'm like, I don't even know what to say.
Oh, you haven't texted or anything?
Now, I do have compassion and sympathy and payola for Nene, but Nene, if you're watching this video, listen to me closely. You are not able to throw any more of these themed parties. You're banned because all your themed parties always do like turn into like this craziness. Like it's good for TV, but girl, I don't know what you be doing. I don't know what the energy be like in the house, but things always go down at these parties. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to chime in the comments and let me know what you guys think about Nene having this vulnerable moment and what you guys think that this means for Nene moving forward. I know this was a long video, but this episode was so good and I honestly needed this. I needed, to be re-inspired, and I needed to know that my girls can still turn an episode because things were getting a little rough. I hate that this had to happen, but it got us talking. Thanks again for watching this video, guys. I will see you all on the next one.